Hey folks, 99 here, coming on here today to attempt to answer a question in the prepper community that we always hear is how much power do we need? How much backup power do we need for our solar power generators? How much should I buy? How much do I need to keep? What should I be able to power? All those questions, in my opinion, and these are just my opinions. I'm not an expert, um, but you can let me know what you think in the comments below. Those questions should be answered by how much you need and according to how much you can afford. I think a lot of people try to buy solar power generators based on what someone else has, how big it is, how powerful it is, and not even taking into consideration something that I thought about was that you might have more power than you need. You might have enough power, or you might have to buy more power. And for an example, this is what I mean. Let me try to demonstrate this by illustration of this concept here. This is the Jackery 518 watt hour solar power generator. For me, and this is just for me, I tend to not want to use my solar power generator for everything. I think a lot of your accessories, if where you can help it, should have its own power base, its own power source. Take a look at this. This right here is the battery for, if I pan over here, this is the EcoFlow Wave 2 air condition and heater system. Okay. This unit here sits on top of this battery right here, which is an 1159 watt hour battery system that will run that air condition slash heater. Now that's 1159 watt hours for this battery as opposed to 518 watt hours for the Jackery 500. It actually has more than double the power of the Jackery. I think what some people don't understand is this battery source here actually is a solar power generator in and of itself. So what it does is it makes, and this is no review of the AC unit. I'm using it as an example. The battery system for that AC unit is a solar power generator in and of itself. As you can see, there are a couple of ports here, a USB port, a USB-C port. So you can use the battery system here, of course, to run the AC unit, but you can also use this battery system here as a solar power generator in and of itself. Let me show you this here. This is the USB port that I plugged in, and it's for this small fan right here. Now, if things got rough and things were hot or cold, of course, you would put the unit on top of the battery and cool yourself off or heat yourself. Now, what if you just needed a little bit of cooling? I have this small desktop USB fan, and as you can see here, it is plugged up to the battery system for the EcoFlow Wave 2. Okay, so now you have this small fan that runs and or actually uses only 2 watts to run. You may not need an entire AC system at the time. And believe me, that thing burns a lot more power than this fan. Maybe you just need to be cooled off a little bit. So you use the battery system, which, like I said, is a solar power generator in and of itself. Okay, so this fan is powered by this battery system. And so by running a fan instead of your entire AC unit, which is a good unit, and I've used it, and it works very well. But sometimes you just need a little bit of a fan. But my point for this video is this fan is dependent on this battery. Let me turn this off here just in case it's in the microphone. Okay, I'm going to unplug that there. I think that in our preps, some of our tools and things that we use, our accessories to make sure that we get through certain systems, should have power systems that are separate and independent from our solar power generators. These things are good for our backup power, but what if the things that we used had their own power systems? In the example that I gave for the air conditioning unit, that has its own power source, and it has multiple uses, as I just demonstrated with the USB fan. A lot of people run power tool systems that have their own battery sources. This has a 4 amp hour battery, and I use the Ridgid system for some of my tool system. Mostly I use Makita, but in this case here, I have the Ridgid flashlight, which has a detachable battery. This battery can be used in multiple tools, but this battery system also is a power source independent of your solar power generator. So this is even more power that you have on deck. So you have your 500 watt hour, and of course I have another solar power generator. I'm using the 518 watt hour Jackery just to demonstrate that you may have a smaller solar power generator, but you also have other sources of power. For example, the air conditioned battery. This battery system is more than double the power of the Jackery. And then you have batteries for your other systems that you use, your tools and things of that nature. Another example is another fan. This is a fan system that runs on the exact same battery as this flashlight. %100% independent of the solar power generator. Now you can use a solar power generator to charge up the batteries, but why not have a system that has its own batteries and they can store power and help out your solar power generator? So you have your main source of power there. You have accessories with their own power, more accessories with their own power, and a host of other tools and accessories that you can use to manage backup power. These type of flashlights, I run these in Ridgid, also in the Makita. Backup power in the fan that I have right there. So these battery systems are independent of the solar power generator. And so I really believe that we have more power than we actually think that we have. Not to say that we need, because we need as much as we can afford. And in bad situations, sometimes, you got to do what you got to do to keep the lights on, and, to keep yourself cool, to keep yourself warm. But I think we ought to consider that we probably have more power than we think. Just gather up those things and make sure you have accessory battery systems to run those accessories and tools independent of our solar power generators, and let the solar power generators be the backup power, and let those tools do their things independently of the solar power generator. Folks, let me know what you think about that in the comments below. And please remember to respect our working class. Go Teamsters.